One thing that happens in Dark Souls or Elden Ring or Sekiro or all the Souls games for that matter is that we die a lot. The reason why I want to bring this up is because I think this is a theme in Dark Souls and even other video games, but specifically Souls games, whether Souls like or Souls born. We tend to die a lot, and obviously that's because we're figuring out certain mechanics, treading a new path, trying to learn an attack pattern, what have you. And I think what's very interesting about this is that we sort of tend to forget what to do in these moments. I myself have died so many times in these games, and I kind of let frustration guide me. And as Kratos once pointed out, use anger as a weapon and not let it consume you. I, much like other people, have let frustration consume me, and I die in a fight without any lessons learned, knowing because I let the ghost of the previous attempt still haunt me. I've died so many times in so many Souls games and so many boss fights just to random things. Either because I wanted to beat the crap out of the boss, I didn't roll the right time, or what I call first attempt syndrome. You know, when your first attempt on a boss is so good that every attempt after that is met with just nothing but failure. Now, there's something to be said about this, though, and it's obviously kind of inherent with these games. I think that when it comes to us, the player, it speaks to a sort of determination. We know, especially for the first attempt syndrome, that we kind of get that itch, like, I know I can beat this boss. I got this guy's number. Look how close I was last time. I got this. Determination is a constant theme because there are a lot of Dark Souls or Elden Ring characters that we tend to sort of emulate in some ways, but ultimately are better than. One of the characters I think of is the crestfallen warrior in Dark Souls 1. He even makes fun of us when we ring one of the bells of awakening. You also have Vike in Elden Ring. You also have Champion Gundyr in Dark Souls 3. Now, I'm sure there are characters similar to this in Bloodborne or Sekiro, but I couldn't really think of any, and I'm sure there's someone in the comments that will be kind enough to let me know who comes to mind. My point is that there are always characters that abandon all hope, but then when we show up and we change the world, we flip it on its head, we figure out the formula, regardless on what ending we choose in the games, what build we go for, what path we take, as far as the bosses are concerned, we end up beating the game and doing better, more so than those other characters. Now, sometimes the character will fight us back, and maybe this idea comes from the fact that an individual who stopped and abandoned all hope is now jealous. Now, I know the crestfallen warrior went hollow, but let's look beyond that for a second. We have all met someone or know someone who met an individual who gave up on something they believed in, whether it be dreams or otherwise. Not because of circumstance, but because they gave up. Then that person becomes bitter towards other people who have succeeded where they themselves have failed. I know everyone is not like this, and I'm not speaking about everyone, but these people, the better individuals, do exist, and much like the crestfallen warrior, when we are on the cusp of success, they tend to turn on us. I think determination is a big theme in the Souls games, and we as the players are the personification of that determination, and what happens when we push through. If you don't beat these games, maybe you find out it's not for you, or maybe you think it's just something you don't like, or just you don't like the person you turn into when you're frustrated. There are valid reasons not to keep playing. Because let's be honest, we've all been there. Even in that moment when we get frustrated and choose to step away for a moment, we have determined to choose peace over chaos. After all, it is just a video game. There was one point during my first playthrough of Elden Ring and Sekiro that I thought I was never going to beat Radagon Elden Beast or Saint Ishin. Anyway, my point is that we've all been there, and I just think it speaks to the determination whether you say, you know what, this path isn't for me, I don't want to play this game anymore, or you know what, I can beat this guy, I can beat this game, let me come back, let me farm a little bit, and for me, I have to look up a boss attacks patterns. For some reason, that just helps my process. I'm kind of pulling myself away from the fight, and I watch someone else do it, and it's much more easier to see the attack patterns, whereas there's just a bunch of chaos being thrown at me all at once. Now, this is the part of the video where I tell you the theme of determination is a perfect sum up of how we should confront our life problems, and that is accurate. For me, this idea of fighting a boss, dying, and trying again has this effect on me where I could say to myself, at least, well, I beat the boss behind me, so I should be able to beat the boss in front of me. And I'll leave you with this. While we can get consumed by the feeling of dread to fight a boss that's been kicking our collective ass over and over and over again, we do this to chase the feeling of winning. Because we, as Souls players, willingly embrace the masochism that is playing a Souls game, because we know what it's like to taste victory after defeat, after so much defeat. To unlearn what we have learned, and when the final strike lands and the prompt shows up, we breathe that sigh of relief of victory achieved. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. Give it a like, subscribe if you want more content like this, and I shall see you in the next one.